Dragons. So I am back. Sorry, I have had a bit of a chaotic 2.5 weeks between getting sick, getting strep, and just being a bit off. But I'm here to do my second half of the month wrap up for October. And honestly, I had a pretty chaotic month just with Comic Con and a bunch of other stuff, election, fears, and concerns. We'll get into that in another video. But overall, I read 22 things in the month, and I did a pre-month wrap-up right before I went to Comic-Con, I think, and then this will be the second half of the month, where I was just reading stuff to keep myself sane. So I'm going to do all my stats at the top, and then I'm going to kind of go through every book that I read since then, and then we're just going to have a chat about my reading overall, and yeah. Know that October was a bit busy. We had Comic-Con, we had a few days off, and it was just busy. I read 22 books. A lot of them were short. I'll be very honest. Don't get too excited. I read 4,720 pages. I read on average 152 pages a day. I read average page count was 214, so definitely a little bit less because I have been reading a lot of shorter things. And my most read genre was mystery, which is obvious because it is October. I read 2 books with rep and 11 from authors I read before. I had 2 5 stars, 13 4 stars, 7 3 stars for an average of a 3.77. I read 14 new releases, 4 backlists, 4 from last year. I read 6 physical. I listened to 10 audiobooks, 1 mixed media, and 5 ebook. I started 8 series. I continued in 4. I completed 1, and I caught up with 1. And I read 5 standalones and 4 anthologies. I'll talk about that because they're all technically together in an anthology, but they're individual. And then I read 2 companions. I read 1 arc, 4 from Audible, 6 from KU. I had a really good KU month this month. And then I read 6. Oh, no NetGalley. It was not a good NetGalley month. And I was also doing Fablein, so a lot of these books were kind of based on the prompts. I read 8 mystery, 1 horror, 7 graphic novels, 4 romance, and then 2 short stories. And some of those were mysteries. They were short stories. I just think I classified them differently. So the first book we are going to talk about is a novel, a graphic novel. This was me coming out of Comic-Con or going into Comic-Con, and I didn't really have a clear what I wanted to read. So yeah, but I read You Wish, and I will attach a photo here. Really cute graphic novel. It's just very, very adorable, and it is a very, very cute adventure story. This is one of the books that I saw at, I think it was Comic-Con last year, yeah, because Sarah was with me, and the guy was there, and he was signing, or maybe it was ALA, I don't remember, but I remember he was there signing, and I didn't wind up getting it signed, but when I was looking for something that had a certain prompt, I was like, oh, this will be perfect, and I thought it was really, really cute. They're coming out with a sequel in 2025. I'll probably pick it up again, but it was a very cute adventure story, and I think that it worked. So that is what I read. And the next book I read was a Abby Jimenez. It was her short story called The Situationship, part of your world series. I'll attach a photo here. Another one that I gave 4 stars to. It's really, really short. It's like 20 pages, but I just like Abby Jimenez's writing style, and we know these characters pretty well, and it was just like the start of a story. So it's gonna be like a 3.75, but if you like Abby Jimenez and you have like 30 pages to read something, I recommend you read it because I had a fun time with it. And then I did read a few more. Actually, I started reading the Busy Betty collection, which is from Amazon. They always do themed with famous authors, and this one's the Busy Betty collection. So I read Staged by El Casamano, and I gave this book 3.75 stars. Again, I don't like short stories. I'll be very, very honest. I don't feel like I get a lot out of them, and I just was reading them because I do like El Casamano a lot. So this book is basically about a murder that takes place at a staged house, and that's really it. It's like 30 pages. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and it was a quick listen. And if you have KU, you get the audiobooks for free, and that's really what I wanted. Or you could buy the audiobook on Audible for a credit, but I figured I didn't need to do that because I didn't think I was gonna like any of them that much to keep reading them or reread them again. So that book was 4 stars. And then I read The Reunion Dinner by Jessie Q. Sutanto, and I'll attach a photo here of those 2 books so you guys can see the covers. read stuff by Jesse Q. Sutanto in the past and have enjoyed it. This one was about a murder that took place at a dinner, and I liked it. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I think this was probably my second favorite that I read. Like, I enjoyed it, and I have liked her in the past. So that is where we are with that. This was definitely me, like, coming off of my Comic-Con high, and I'm still not. It definitely is, like, a little bit of a rougher reading month just because, like, Comic-Con took a lot out of me this year. But then I also read... Oh, I missed one. Okay, I'll go back. I also read WizKid and Adventure Overdue, and I literally just got this from Comic-Con. I was just buying stuff because it was buy one, get one, and I said, oh, I could put this in my classroom for my students, so this is immediately going to go in my classroom. But I just wanted to read it before I gave it to them, make sure. But it was basically about a character that had to go on an adventure to return a library book. So I thought it was really, really cute, and I'm going to toss this in my classroom. The book that I was reading as I was going to and from Comic-Con on all the days that I was able to read my book was A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch by Sarah Holly. I actually met Sarah Holly at Comic-Con and she signed one of them. I'll show you. But this is the second book in that series, and I really like this book. I gave this book 4 stars. I gave the first book in the series 3 stars, so it was definitely an update. I really did like this. It had amnesia. It was a fun read, and if you want a perfect fall read, I think you should check out this series because I really did like it. And then the next thing that I read was another one of those Busy Bunnies collections. And this is probably my favorite so far that I've read. It's called A Classic Case by Alicia Thompson. And I'll attach a photo here. Unique story. I'm going to say that. I don't want to say too much because I think if I say too much, I'm going to kind of give it away. But I like this story a lot. I really gave it like 4 or 5 stars. I really liked it. Again, super short, hard to feel that invested, but out of all the stories I read in this collection, this one was my favorite. And then I also read, oh my god, I missed like so many. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay, yeah, that's right. I missed a few. Okay, so sorry, now I'm like all discombobulated. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of sorts, so these are going to be a little bit out of order when I read them, but that's okay. And then I also, from the library, picked up Pretty as a Picture by Elizabeth Little. I'll attach a photo here. It's a murder mystery, and I think it's about this girl that she winds up being an editor, and she winds up having a bit of a falling out with her friend, and she winds up picking up editing on this movie job, and things are not quite right, and a lot of things go wrong, and she has to kind of use her editing skills to figure out this murder on this movie set, and I really liked it. I will admit, I like the first half a lot more than the second half. There is a podcast element to the story as well, but the second half didn't work as well, so I only gave it 4 stars, but I really did like the first half, and yeah, so that is what I read for that. And then immediately after Comic-Con kind of coming home, this is kind of where I started picking up my Comic-Con reads. I read Speak Up Santiago by Juliet Anaya and Gabby Mendez. This is actually the first Comic-Con arc that I read, and my friend Kelly got it for me. She was at Random House and they were handing this out, and she picked up a copy for me. And I like this book a lot. I'm gonna put this in my classroom when I'm done with it. I'm gonna bring it to work on Monday and just stick it in my classroom because I think the kids will like this. It's basically about a character named Santiago who is not the best at speaking Spanish. He kind of spends the whole year determined to kind of get better and speak with his grandma. He goes to live there for the summer, and he has to kind of confront what happens when you're not a native Spanish speaker. And as somebody who works a lot with kids, and I don't speak that well Spanish, my Spanish is horrible, I related to this book on a deep level, so I really liked it. I thought it was fine. And we're going to get a sequel book in 2026, which seems so long from now, about one of the side characters. So yeah, I gave this book like 4.5 stars and think it will be a great book to have in classrooms. Okay, I'm definitely going to tell my librarian about that too, because I think that she would really like it. And then another book that I kind of just bought because it was buy one, get one, and I was looking for more things. I got Misfit Mansion by Kate Duvall, and this is another one that I kind of read as I was just kind of coming home, and this is the perfect fall read. Like, I really did like it. I didn't feel that connected to the characters, but this art style is stunning. And it basically follows these monsters that they live in this mansion, and they have to kind of confront the town and kind of do all that. So, really quick. It's gonna go immediately in my classroom and go into my books for the kids, but I really did like it. I think the kids would like it a lot more than I did, but I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. And then I also finally read The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. And again, this is another book kind of like Pretty Little Picture, that I liked the first half a lot more than the second half, and I didn't enjoy this book as much as I loved The Wishing Game. I think I like the concept of it, but I think it was executed. The first half was really good, and the second half just got very confusing. So basically you have a main character named, what's his name? You have a main character, and she is on the hunt for her sister, and she kind of teams up with this guy who went missing when he was younger and his friend to find out where her sister went, and they have to go on an adventure basically to this Narnia-like place. And I really like the characters. I just think the story was a little bit twisty, turny for me. Definitely more magical realism, but I still love The Wishing Spell. The Wishing Spell was a 5-star read, and I just didn't feel that connected to the characters emotionally to be that invested, but I liked it well enough. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm really excited to see what she writes next. But this was more of a questy story and less about found family, which is what I really like. But I did enjoy it, so I gave it 4 stars. And then the next thing that I read was next thing I read was my 5-star read of the month, and that was A Werewolf Guide to Seducing Vampires by Sarah Holly. This one she signed to me. Yes, she did. Okay, yeah, she signed this one to me, and I gave this book 5 stars. I love this book. This is definitely a book I'm going to keep in my collection because I loved Ben and Eleanor. It's a reverse Grump Sunshine. There's a guy that's a werewolf and a girl that's a vampire, and I love this story. It was my favorite in the series, and they're kind of like, he buys her on eBay, and he comes out of the stone, and they have very contentious relationships. But I loved it. I love seeing the characters again. I love seeing how this whole world kind of came together, and I really enjoy it. And then the last book that I finished in the month of October was The Nosy Neighbor by Nita Prose, a part of that Busy Buddy collection, and I gave that book 3.5 stars. I did really like it. It's very similar to a movie that I watched. It was okay. Like, again, they're really quick, and it's hard to feel that emotionally invested in them, but I had a fun time. So yeah, I also DNF'd Otto's Normals and Monstrous: The Disappearance of White Pine Beach. I might give this like another shot. I might try it one more time and just see how I feel, but it's probably going to go into the classroom. It's a really good book for like a readathon prompt because it is like, this, but I just didn't feel that connected to it. So yeah, alright, and let me talk about what I watched. So all the stuff that I watched in the month of, okay, so I talked about Echo, I talked about Sins of a Mother. I totally forgot that I went to the Gold Over America tour with Simone Biles, and it was really cool. That was a highlight. I try to go to that tour every year, and I really had a fun time. And I also watched Simone Biles Rising, the whole thing again. So I watched the 2 new episodes, and it kind of ended her Olympics on a high, and I really like that. And then I finished Agatha All Along, and that was really good. I've been getting over being sick, so I really didn't watch a ton in the last 2 weeks because I've been sick, but I really want to watch more stuff. So yeah, that's where you're at, and I am going to go edit this, so I actually have a video for next week, and I will talk to you guys when I have more information. Bye. That was a weird ending. I will talk to you guys for my next video, and thank you guys for being patient with me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.